What if the Seattle Seahawks are about to unleash the most dangerous backfield in the National Football League? Rumors are swirling about a massive move involving explosive running back Travis Etienne Jr. And if it happens, Seattle's offense could look completely different overnight. Some believe adding Etienne would give the Seahawks unmatched speed and versatility out of the backfield, while others wonder how such a blockbuster deal would reshape the roster. Either way, if this move becomes reality, opposing defenses might be in serious trouble. Imagine waking up to one of the biggest NFL stories of the offseason, a move that could completely change the balance of power in the NFC. The Seattle Seahawks, a team that has been quietly building a dangerous defense, have just made a massive trade that could instantly turn their defensive line into one of the most feared units in football. According to breaking reports, the Seahawks are finalizing a blockbuster move to bring superstar pass rusher Khalil Mack to Seattle. And if this deal becomes official, it could create the scariest pass rush in the entire NFL. This is the type of move that sends shockwaves across the league. Khalil Mack is not just another defensive player. He is one of the most dominant edge rushers of the past decade, a player who can single-handedly wreck an offense. When quarterbacks see number 52 coming off the edge, they know they have about 2 seconds to make a decision before the pocket collapses. And now, if this trade goes through, he could be lining up in Seattle every Sunday. For Seahawks fans, this news is almost unbelievable. Over the past few seasons, the team has been rebuilding its identity on defense. After the legendary Legion of Boom era faded away, the defense went through several transitions. There were questions about whether Seattle could ever rebuild that intimidating defensive culture again. But now, with young talent developing and the possibility of adding a proven superstar like Khalil Mack, the entire outlook of the defense suddenly changes.
The defensive line. And that is exactly why this move could create the most terrifying pass rush in the NFL. Imagine an offensive line trying to figure out where the pressure is coming from. If they double-team Mack, someone else gets a one-on-one matchup. If they slide protection away from him, he has a clear path to the quarterback. This is the kind of problem defensive coordinators dream about and quarterbacks absolutely hate. Khalil Mack has built a reputation as one of the most complete defensive players in football. He is not just a pass rusher who gets sacks. He can stop the run, force fumbles, disrupt screens, and even drop into coverage when needed. His football intelligence allows him to read plays quickly, and his explosiveness off the edge makes him nearly impossible to block when he times the snap correctly. Over the years, Mack has delivered countless game-changing moments. Strip sacks, fourth-quarter pressures, and defensive takeovers that shift momentum instantly. Even when he doesn't get the sack, his presence alone changes how offenses operate. Quarterbacks speed up their reads, running backs stay in to block, and entire offensive schemes get altered just to slow him down. For the Seahawks front office, making a move like this sends a very clear message. This team is not just rebuilding anymore. They are trying to compete right now. The NFC has become increasingly competitive, and teams know that elite pass rushing is one of the fastest ways to transform a defense. If Seattle wants to return to deep playoff runs, putting constant pressure on opposing quarterbacks is essential. Another fascinating part of this situation is the mentorship factor. The Seahawks have several younger defenders who could benefit immensely from learning alongside a veteran like Mack. Watching how he prepares during the week, how he studies offensive tackles, how he times his rushes and sets up blockers. Those details can accelerate the development of an entire defensive unit. Fans are already imagining what game day in Seattle could look like with this kind of defensive firepower. The crowd noise at Lumen Field is already one of the loudest environments in football. Now imagine that energy combined with a relentless pass rush collapsing the pocket again and again. quarterbacks stepping to the line knowing they will be under pressure from the first snap to the final whistle. Of course, any blockbuster trade raises questions about the details. What did Seattle have to give up to make this happen? Draft picks, young players, or possibly a combination of both? Trades involving superstar defenders are never cheap, and bringing in a player with Mack's resume likely required serious assets. But for a team that believes it is close to contending, this kind of aggressive move can be worth the risk. Salary cap considerations also play a major role. Khalil Mack has been one of the highest paid defensive players in the league during different stretches of his career. Managing that contract while maintaining roster depth will be an important challenge for the Seahawks front office. But teams that want elite talent often have to make bold financial decisions. What cannot be ignored is the psychological impact of a move like this. When players see their team acquire a superstar, it sends a surge of confidence through the locker room. It tells everyone that management believes in the roster and is willing to invest in winning. That kind of energy can translate directly to performance on the field. Opponents around the league are also paying attention. Offensive coordinators in the NFC West already deal with some very aggressive defensive fronts, but adding Khalil Mack to the Seahawks defense raises the level of difficulty even more. Division games are always physical battles, and a dominant edge rusher can tilt those matchups dramatically. Another key factor is durability and experience. Mack has played in countless high-pressure games throughout his career. He understands how to perform in big moments, and how to prepare his body for the long grind of an NFL season. That veteran presence becomes extremely valuable when teams push toward the playoffs and every snap carries extra intensity. Seahawks fans know very well how powerful a dominant defense can be. The championship years were built on defensive intimidation, relentless pressure, and forcing opponents into mistakes. While the league has evolved into a more offense-heavy era, the fundamental truth remains the same. Teams that can pressure the quarterback consistently often control the outcome of games. Imagine a late fourth quarter scenario. The Seahawks are protecting a narrow lead. The opposing offense is driving down the field, trying to score the game-winning touchdown. The crowd is roaring, the tension is rising, and then Khalil Mack explodes off the edge, beats the tackle, and slams into the quarterback for a game-sealing sack. Those are the moments fans dream about when a superstar defender joins their team. The potential ripple effect of this trade could extend beyond just sacks and pressures. A stronger pass rush helps the secondary tremendously. When quarterbacks have less time to throw, defensive backs can play more aggressively, jump routes, and create turnovers. That synergy between the defensive line and the secondary is what often transforms good defenses into elite ones. If this trade officially goes through, analysts will spend weeks breaking down how dangerous the Seahawks defense could become. Rival teams will start adjusting their strategies before they even face Seattle. And fans across the NFL will circle those matchups on the schedule to see how offenses handle the challenge. Right now, the football world is waiting for final confirmation and full trade details. But one thing is already clear. If Khalil Mack really is heading to Seattle, the Seahawks may have just taken a massive step toward building the most feared pass rush in the NFL. And if that happens, quarterbacks across the league might want to start getting rid of the ball a little faster when they face Seattle, because the storm coming off that defensive line could be unlike anything we have seen in years.